your hosts, Dalton and Ryan.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always is my good buddy.
This is Ryan.
And this week, well, we had a whoopsie. Whoopsie!
Yeah.
Like in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. Before we get to that, some things that happened this past week. I am now a year older. I turned 29. Hooray.
Yeah. Hooray.
And that meant a little bit of birthday cash.
Nice.
Which meant me taking advantage of those last hours of a few like December, January sales that were going on. So things that I added.
Our list gets bigger.
And the list grows. Yes, it does. Sorcery, parts 1 and 2, which we had part 3, so now we have all 3.
Cool.
I got that in a bundle. Viking Rage, not sure what that is, but just, another bundle game.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered Persona 5 Strikers, and
Of course you did.
I got the digital deluxe edition, so we will get it 4 days early. So
Of course you did.
maybe we can check that out in the first couple of days, and then pump out a thing for the release day. Maybe bring some New Year's in,
Yeah.
But I'll keep you posted on that, and we will let the listeners know. Retro Wave. So this game, Retro Wave, those videos you see on YouTube of like a car and you're like driving down a highway and it's just playing retro wave music?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that, but you're actually driving the car.
That's awesome.
I haven't played it yet, but to me it looked like Outrun meets what I watch and get stoned on YouTube. So I was like, it was like $1.50. I'm like, I'm in. I'll take it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So a game that was recommended to me because of this game that we're playing this week, King's Quest. I believe it was Phil Gartside was telling me to check out Toonstruck, which is another point-and-click game, because Christopher Lloyd is the main character. Like, you play as
That's
Christopher
awesome.
Lloyd. It's a FMV game, and I couldn't pass that up, so it was like $10 or so, $15. So I snagged that, and then he writes me on Steam, and he's like, I was going to get you that for your birthday, but I see that you jumped the gun and went ahead and got it for yourself. So he gave me like a little Steam credit instead, which I ended up getting, what is it called? Record of Lodos War, Deed Lit, and Wonder Labyrinth.
What's that
It's
one?
an early access game, but it is, did you ever play Castlevania Symphony of the Night or any of the Castlevania games?
Yeah.
Okay, so it reminds me a lot of Symphony of the Night. But it's characters from Record of Lodos War, which I've never heard of, but apparently is a pretty good anime. And Dave, actually from Tadpog, shout out, I'm wearing my Tadpog shirt as we record this. He's letting me borrow some of the episodes of the anime, so I'm going to check that out.
Nice.
I was playing some of the game before we went live just so I could talk about it, and man, I was really enjoying myself. It reminded me a lot of Hollow Knight too, because Metroidvania.
Did it?
So,
No.
oh, that reminds me. Before we go any further with this, I was asked to ask you. Nate was very interested to see what you had to say about Hollow Knight, but you unfortunately were sick. And also, welcome back.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
real quick for Nate, what did you think of Hollow Knight with the time you
I
spent
loved
with
it. It was good. It was great. As aggravating as it was, like I catch myself going back and playing more of it. Like I sit down and get like 20, 30 minutes in.
That was my thing with it too. Was like it was so frustrating, but once you beat the part that you kept losing at, it was almost like a good nut. It was just satisfying. You felt fulfilled.
No, but
and
I loved Hollow Knight. I love it.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
yeah, we'll definitely be having to add the sequel to the list whenever it comes out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So some other games I snagged. Battle Chasers Night War. I got that on Steam. Dragon Fantasy: The Black Tome of Ice, which is like a old school graphics style game. We already had one of the Dragon Fantasy games. I just figured I'd grab the other one. It was stupid cheap.
Yeah.
I got this game specifically for you. It's an RPG game, but it's called Night Bewitched, and you play as a female, and there's like
Yay.
a lesbian romance thing going on, but it's like not sexualized.
Yay.
You know what I mean? It's like a LGBT game. So I was like, I'll throw that in there for Ryan. I know he'll enjoy that.
Hooray! Yeah, that's awesome.
Vampire the Masquerade: Coteries of New York. It is a visual novel, so we don't have to worry about like janky gameplay. It's almost like a choose your own adventure type thing. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So that should be cool. Reluctantly, because I wanted to create a wrestler stuff, I bought 2 more expansions for WWE 2K20.
Did you?
I did. I wanted to create a wrestler stuff so bad. It's been teasing me from fucking year now.
I wanna. We have that on. Is that on the Steam library? 2K20.
Yeah, and 2K19 as well.
I might have to download that and start one of those up.
If I'm gonna recommend you pick one, I would say 19 because it's not gonna crash nearly as much. But 20 is pretty good.
No, yeah.
So I know I added a bunch of shit, but there was a bunch of good sales going. I actually didn't spend all of that much.
I picked up a couple games for the Switch the other day.
Did you? Well, while I'm finding the other ones I got, what did you?
I picked up the Castlevania collection.
Nice. I just added that to Steam recently, so that's cool.
Yeah. I picked that up for the Switch, and then I picked up Doom.
Ooh, which one?
Well.
The
first one.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so I picked up 2 Warhammer games. Warhammer Chaos Bane, which I think is kind of a Diablo Baldur's Gate style game, and Warhammer Vermintide 2. And I played a round or 2 of that. My first impression was it's 107 gigs. It's a big ass game.
Jesus Christ!
But it's the game. It's basically the gameplay of Left 4 Dead 2. Like, there's 4 characters. You choose one of the 4 characters. They each play differently, and then you guys run through the level. And instead of zombies, you're fighting, gnolls and goblins and just fuck. Dude, I cannot tell you how many things. I ran up to this one thing and sliced its fucking arm off, and it swung at me with its other arm, so I sliced that arm off too. It was sweet.
That's cool.
Lots of decapitations, blood everywhere. It was really cool.
Right.
So I feel like with a group of people, that would be a fun game to play. So
for sure.
Any listeners, if you have Warhammer Vermintide 2, hit me up. Let me know. So I added Code Vein, which I looked. One of the review that sold me on it on Steam was something like, if you're a fan of Dark Souls games, this game's a 4 out of 10. Like, if you're a fan of those games and you really like anime, this game's a 10 out of 10. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. They were just saying that, like, as far as just being a Souls game, it's meh. But if you really like anime, and, like, I guess there's Code Vein anime, so check it out. And that leaves me with the final thing that I got, and I wanted to spotlight this particularly. Tom, or as people might know him, Coda Pill, the developer, and he's a member of the Factory Sealed crew. He released a game called Fragments. Now, we talked about that he had done Recruit 1, which was a little free game that he had released, like a little puzzler.
Yeah.
And we both enjoyed that. And Fragments is his new game, and I played through it. I had to play through it again because I want the true ending. I didn't get the true ending. I tried, but I didn't. Without spoiling too much, it's a very, very cool game. It's not very long. There's no combat. It's all puzzles and memory and piecing together things. And it's a really cool story. Oddly enough, I really related to the subject matter. Like, I've been there of what it was talking about. So I think it's on sale right now for like $2.49, and when it's not on sale, it's $2.99. So, like, please, any listeners, if it would be a personal favor to me to go buy my buddy Tom's game, Fragments by Coda Pill, CODA space PILL. He's the man. It's a really cool game. It's worth $3. You will put more than $3 worth of time into it. I really enjoy it, and I cannot wait to see what else he does, because I always see him in RPG Maker, and I'm like, yes, brother, keep giving me stuff. And I told him, I was like, hey, you keep pumping these games out. I'm gonna keep playing them and talking about them. Eventually, I want you to do a game with some voice acting, and I want to be an NPC, even if I'm just a character that's like, oh, you go west, and you will find your destination, your final destination. Dun dun dun. So that and as far as news, I mean, Xbox hiked gold price up to try to make everybody move to Game Pass Ultimate, and then they backtracked on it because they realized how fucking dumb that was.
Yeah. It was dumb. I'm glad they backtracked. Like,
I agree.
Doubling the price of your service
Out of nowhere too. Like no warning, just did it, and then they're like, oh no, never mind. Get the fuck out of here. Well, this week, man, we played King's Quest, but caveat. So when I told Ryan we were playing King's Quest, I should have specified that we were playing the 2015 or 14, I think 15 re-release or like reboot of the series, because Ryan dove into some of the older King's Quest games. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I played. I played the first chapter of the new games. There's 5 chapters in all, so I am going to leave both of these on the list that we'll get back to eventually, so we can play some of the other chapters. Because the first chapter and the one I played is the longest chapter. The rest of them are much shorter. And the games that you played, you said you used the guide, and they weren't very long at all. But you got to think, when those games came out back in the day, you had to figure out those puzzles with no guide. And fucking A. I'll get into that in a second, but I tried doing it on the King's Quest that I was playing, and I fucked some shit up. So at the end, I was lost on this one part, so I looked up a guide, and in the guide it was telling me to do this stuff, and I'm like, well, I can't do that. So I had to backtrack and read the whole guide and piece together like what I did where wrong and what I needed to go do now to fix it. And oh man, it was a pain in the ass. I didn't have to save scum though. I'm proud of myself. I did not save scum. But obligatory Wikipedia bullshit for my game, and then we'll do this again in a little bit. King's Quest, the 2015 release, is an episodic video game series developed by The Odd Gentleman and published by Activision under the Sierra Entertainment brand name for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. It is a new reimagining of the long-running King's Quest series. While it is an adventure game like the previous games in the series, the interface is not fully point-and-click. The PC version only uses point-and-click for the dialogue and the first-person scenes. The game is one of several attempts at resurrecting or rebooting the King's Quest franchise since 1998. And its first chapter was released some 32 years after King's Quest 1. The new chapters are seen as neither a remake nor necessarily a sequel, but a reimagining. The original games are considered to be part of the canon of the new series, as each chapter will take place between those games, but previous games may be reinterpreted in completely new ways. Now, I have no experience with the original King's Quest games, but what I can...
Apparently I do.
I was going to say, apparently you do now, yeah, that's for sure. One of the things that stuck out to me for this game was immediately the art style is awesome. I loved it. It's like cartoony, but it looks painted, and it's really, really cool. And then I heard my character, like, because you're being narrated by the old man version of your character, Graham, and I recognized his voice right off the rip. I was like, that sounds like fucking Doc Brown, and I looked it up, and sure as shit, it is Christopher Lloyd is the voice, right? A little bit later in the game, you come across a merchant, and I'm like, this merchant sounds like SpongeBob without the helium, and looked it up, boom, it was Tom, the voice of SpongeBob. I was like, son of a bitch. Zelda Williams. Got it. I blanked on her last name for a minute. Robin Williams' daughter. She did voice acting in this. And
nice.
I cannot remember the actor's name, but there is a guy that you meet, and he is a big black dude in armor. And I recognized his voice immediately, too. But I can't pin where I know it from. He just has one of those voices. Like, I think he's a voice actor. You know what I mean? Like, he's just got that voice. But from everything I've gathered, man, this is a great retelling. I watched, I don't know, two hours. It was like a 4-video block on YouTube of this guy tearing this game to fucking shreds, and then at the end being like, it's pretty good. It's just not. It doesn't hold up to the old games. But then I go and look at reviews on Steam and like other reviews and stuff, and people are like, dude, this game was fucking awesome. Like I asked the Metal Jesus Rocks community on Facebook what they thought of it. Everyone that commented said that they absolutely loved it. And a lot of people said the same thing that I'm probably going to end up saying for the next 10 years. And it was like, well, I played chapter 1, but I never went back and played the other ones. Like, I don't know, I need to get back to that.
Yeah.
But that being said, chapter 1 was free, and all the other ones you had to pay for. It was kind of like when the Batman series came out and they released it in episodes.
Yeah.
But this game had everything that you would, expect from an old point-and-click style game, doing the puzzles. There was one part where the merchant's wagon had a wheel come off, so you had to go and find a wheel, something suitable for a wheel. You had three choices. You could go into the alchemist's place, and they had a table that you could take the table and go use that as a wheel. You could go into the armorer and get a shield off the wall that was a giant ass shield and use that as the wheel. Or you could go in the bakery shop and get a giant ass round loaf of bread and use that as a wheel. Now here's the thing.
Loaf of bread.
I went with the shield, right? Because that was just the first place that I went. But you can make any of those decisions. Now, another thing that's just a little thing that they don't hint at or whatever, right? But when you walk in, and I just used adventure game logic. When you walked in and I grabbed the shield and he put it in his cape. So his cape, his mom said, is sewn with so many pockets he can hold whatever he wants in it, right? So he'll get the biggest of shit and just throw his cape around it, and then boom, it's in his cape. So you grab the shield, and on the counter, there's a little metal tin with a sign that says tips here, right? So I walked over and I paid for the shield and I walked out. Well, later on, the lady was super happy that she made a sale while she wasn't in her store, right? So she became more friendly towards me. Whereas had I not paid, she'd have been pissed off because somebody robbed her while she was gone.
Yeah.
She also congratulated me later because when I would exit this one part of town, so you get to the gate in town and it's a wood gate, it's shut and it's locked and it's got scratches all over it. But there's vines going up the wall next to the door. So you can climb up these vines and rocks and go over, and that's how you get into town. Well, you can then open the door and go back out, right? But I noted that when I first came up to that door, it was locked. So every time I would leave town that way, I would turn around and shut the door. And it would shut the doors, and that thing would fall back down, and it would lock again. And I did that every time. And at the end of the game, she ended up thanking me for always shutting the door behind me and keeping the town safe and all of that. And it was like, oh, it's cool how those little things add up, your little decisions. Now, on the opposite end of that, I found a picnic table. Then there was some star fruit that I needed. But there was also a big buzzing beehive. And so I didn't think about it. I hit the tree so the fruit would fall, and it made the beehive fall onto the picnic table. There's nobody there, but... So I grab the fruit and I leave. Well, later on, I find a fruit picker that a guard had been using, but then he wasn't using it anymore. And then I walk into the bakery later to go get it, to give him some bitter root, and he just looks like he's got hives all over him. And I'm like, what the hell? So on the picnic table was a love letter confessing his love for some woman, right? So you walk in and you find out that was the baker's, and you're like, what happened to your face? And he was like, oh yeah, there was a bunch of bees up there, and but we weren't gonna let that ruin our day. So at the end, I had done the potion people's things right, so they were outside in the court. I had done the blacksmith stuff right, so she was out in the court. Baker man wasn't out there, because what I should have done is went and got that fruit picker first, then went back there and picked the fruit with the fruit picker instead of hitting the tree, which would have not made the bees fall. Or no, I'm sorry. You're supposed to hit the tree, the fruit falls, and the beehive falls, and you grab the beehive with the fruit picker and throw it off the mountain.
That sounds...
That's adventure games
remarkably like Animal Crossing.
Yeah. It's probably that style is probably where Animal Crossing got it. It was always adventure games back in the day. It's having to do. So I fucked up there, but it was really cool, man. I don't want to spoil too much because this is a story-driven game. But you play as Graham. You go through his applying to become a knight and going through the trials and the competition and all that. It's fantastic. I really loved it.
Yeah.
I would give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. I need to play the rest of it, but so far it's been really fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I would ask you what you thought of it, but I know that you did not play it.
No, I didn't. I did not play this King's Quest. I played the original.
But I'll tell you,
the original King's Quest, apparently.
The chapter 1 was called A Night to Remember, but it was like, Chivalry Night.
Yeah.
Chapter 2 is called Rubble Without a Cause. Chapter 3 is Once Upon a Climb.
Yeah.
Chapter 4 is Snow Place Like Home, and Chapter 5 is The Good Night.
Yeah.
So they're all punny. And Christopher Lloyd's character makes puns the entire game. He's like trying to catch a frog, and he just keeps telling jokes, and his granddaughter, who's listening to you, is like, "All right, Grandpa, I get it. Enough toad jokes." And he goes, "That's okay. My throat's getting hoarse anyway. I think I've got a frog in it." All kinds of stuff like that. Well, King's Quest 2015, I recommend it. I don't want to go super deep into it, like I said, because I don't want to spoil it. It's a really rich, just fun experience. It's cheap. Go, and the first chapter that I'm talking about is free. So like, if anybody wants to go play this and check out what I played, it's fucking free. You'll really enjoy it. The bridge trolls are absolutely hilarious.
The bridge trolls in the version I played were hilarious.
I had to feed one a giant pie, and then he helped me. But so speaking of the games that you played,
I pulled up King's Quest because apparently when I was looking through the Steam library, I only saw one of them. I didn't see there was more than one King's Quest available.
Yeah, there's a King's Quest, and then there's King's Quest Collection.
Yeah, apparently I played the collection.
Yes, and the collection is a graphic adventure game series created by American software company Sierra Entertainment. It is widely considered a classic series from the golden era of adventure games. Following the success of its first installments, the series was primarily responsible for building the reputation of Sierra. Roberta Williams, co-founder and former co-owner of Sierra, designed all of the King's Quest games until the series reboot in 2015. The King's Quest series chronicles the saga of the royal family of the Kingdom of Daventry through their various trials and adventures. The story takes place over 2 generations and across many lands as the heroes and heroines fight villains such as evil witches and wizards. And so, which one of these did you play?
I ended up playing 1, 2, 3, and part of 4. I did use walkthrough guides while playing them, so they were kind of like speed runs, but without those walkthrough guides, God, I never would have figured this game out because it's one of those. It's older. The game's older than I am, by a couple of years, and it's one of those old. You get your directional arrows, like the up, down, left, right, but to do commands and stuff, you literally have to type it out.
It's because
type out pick up X, shit like that.
What I'm reading here, it says the first King's Quest was published originally for the IBM PC Junior in 1984.
Yep, it's definitely older than I am.
And then
it was really fun though. I'm not gonna lie, it was very nostalgic, taking me back to those very old school style games, and I kind of wish that you actually had played these ones instead of the other one now.
I know, right? We should have planned that out better.
Yeah,
but it's all right.
These were super fun. Without the walkthrough guides, I never would have been able to even complete the first one. Even though the maps are not large, they just keep resetting. So if you walk through the top tile, you just end up in the bottom tile of that row. So it seems like you could walk forever, but the map is actually super tiny.
Now
they didn't make the games overly difficult, but some of them were a bitch without that guide.
And you still play as Graham, right? So Graham?
Yes, I think you're Graham up until let's see. You are Graham up until number...
Is it 4?
4, I think.
From what I'm reading, you take over as his children.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then that means in the new one, then he was telling stories to his children's children.
Gotcha.
Because, it says in 4, picking up immediately where King's Quest 3 left off, King Graham tosses his children his adventurer's cap. He suffers a massive heart attack. Well, damn. Well, I know the original King's Quest games, man. They fetch a pretty penny.
I believe it. Like, is old school and as basic as this game was, graphic wise, control wise, all of that shit. It was really fun. Surprisingly.
Here's a sealed copy for the Commodore Amiga of King's Quest V. It's $499.99.
What's the Sega Master System version going for?
Wow. Somebody is selling it cart only, no box, no nothing, for $39.99.
That's not bad.
There's somebody selling, if any listeners are interested, a brand new factory sealed Sega Master System for $1,200. That's not worth it.
No.
I love my Sega Master System, but $1,200 is a little steep. Okay, so here you go. King's Quest Sega Master System, factory sealed, $399.99.
Yeah. Those are cool games.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with our episode, but this just struck me. This can't be real. Power Strike for the Sega Master System, factory sealed. How much do you think it is? Power Strike.
$1,700.
$4,999.99.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's insane. Plus $19.99 shipping. That's wild, man.
Somebody doesn't know the actual worth of the game, so they just set it at like an extreme price.
And hope somebody on eBay will pay for it. Yeah.
Until they can actually figure out the value of it, yeah.
You know, there was a weird thing that happened with Disney movies. Like, everyone was saying that those movies were worth a ton of money. And you could go on Amazon and eBay, and people were trying to sell them for like $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 for these Disney VHS tapes. And I'm like, I've got a small fortune worth of those if that's the real case. But then you look, and the ones that are actually selling are like $20, $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's none of those fucking expensive ones are selling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to get into collecting the big box PC games. I really don't care necessarily if they're sealed. Either way, I don't have a way to play them, really. I mean, I've got a disk drive and a different PC that doesn't work anymore that I could take out and put into my computer. But my computer's got no room, or it doesn't have a spot for a fucking disk drive. So I have to either figure out how to have it hooked up and then have it external, or just deal with not having it and just collect the games. Because, man, some of those things, they came with, like, all kinds of cool shit in the box, like cloth maps and all that. It would just be super cool to have. Well, man, I feel like this episode's kind of strange because we both played different games, and
we played the same game. We just played different
iterations,
timeline, different versions of the game. Yeah.
If you had to pick out of the ones you played, which ones did you enjoy the most?
I really liked 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah. They as the series got further into the line that I was playing, it went away from that like straight up adventure style. Like you were talking in your version, it's talking about Graham as a knight, right?
You were on the in the one that I'm doing. You were on the way to becoming a knight. Yeah.
Yeah. In King's Quest, the original, you are already a knight, and the king is like, if you grab these 3 treasures for me, I'll make you king. That's like the deal. So you end the first game as king now, and then it goes. But it moved away from that like point and click or like type out the command thing to just more of like a straight out like kind of like point and click style.
Yeah, I mean that's probably as the engines evolved too. You know, and more games started coming out. It was probably a lot more user friendly to be point and click, especially like once people started getting mouses, because like when King's Quest first came out, there was probably no mouse, or if you had a mouse, it was like a new thing.
Luxury.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's fucking crazy to think about. That's wild.
Yeah, no, for sure. You
know, those like we have some like I think the first Gothic game. I don't know if there's mouse support for it. I think it's all keyboard.
I think so.
But it's fucking nuts, man.
But yeah. But yeah, my favorite out of that collection that I actually got to play was 1 and 2.
Nice. I will. I'll dive into them eventually. Eventually, it's like our tagline.
Yeah.
I used to always laugh when I would be watching, or I'm sorry, not watching, but listening to Tadpog, and Tyler and Dave were like, you know, leave us a 5-star review and leave a game that you'd like us to play, and we promise we'll get to it eventually. It's like their thing, and it makes me laugh every time. And now I relate to it so hard, right?
Yeah.
I relate to it so hard. Um, so before we bother Steamy, I have been batting around in my brain ideas for maybe like a Patreon thing, right?
Yeah.
So what I've kind of conducted, and this is just a work in progress, listeners. So if you have any feedback or like comments, concerns, please Discord, Facebook, let us know. But I was thinking,
All Patreon pledges get a free OnlyFans account. Yeah.
yeah, with daily pictures of our buttholes. Woo!
Yes. Buttholes playing video games.
I can think of so many good taglines.
Oh.
Anyways,
We'll run it. We'll run it.
we'll let you know. We'll workshop it. I was thinking $1, just be like, support the show, and if we do any side episodes, like I was thinking maybe like we could do about like we could watch something and talk about it on there. Have the people who contribute $1 or more, they could like we could have a vote on different things like animes or
Yeah.
NSFW games. If you want us to play something like Katawa Shujo or something, that'd be cool too. So I was thinking that. And then I was thinking $5. If you do $5 a month, then I will. Well, I don't know. Maybe. No, yeah, five's fine. I don't want to charge too much. 5 for now. Well, it might go up in time, but right now 5, and I should probably keep it that way. $5, and we will read out your name at the end of the episode. You are one of the cogs in the machine that keeps the steam machine rolling. So we would like to thank you, for that. And then I was thinking like $10-15. I haven't really decided. But you would get to choose a game from our list that gets moved up to next. And if you have the means, you could join the show and talk with us about it. And I only say if you have the means because I don't want people to struggle to try to like call up on their phone and it just give them issues.
Yeah.
But if you had the means to, like if you've got headset and Discord, really that's all you need is a headset and Discord.
Yeah, you just need a laptop and a headset, and
You could even do
because
it.
of this pandemic, who doesn't have that now?
Even like you could use your smartphone and a headset as long as we can hear you and I can record it through OBS, But we've got a fuckload of games, and I'm sure that there are games on there that people are like, man, I really can't wait for, I don't know, Blackguard 2, but
Corpse Party Blood Drive.
that game has already been talked about, sir.
I can't wait for them to pull that game again.
No. That game will never get pulled again.
I-
That game was played and kicked the fuck off the list. Fuck that game. Now, if I ever get the original Corpse Party, I'm down. Because I've heard that one's really good. It's in a completely different graphical style. But, so, I don't know, 10, 15, I don't know. I'll hash it out. I just don't want to come off sounding like greedy or anything. But personally, at the moment, I cannot find work for shit. So trying to find ways to make money from home has been a thing. And so I would also like to that makes me think of anybody who's bought a shirt. Kana, KB, I know I ordered one. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I want to try to do like a collage of some sort of all the people who have a shirt. And I'll just like add to it as people get more. I'll try to do it a little differently than Tadpog has theirs because I know they've got one too. But like, I just think that's a cool way to like show off our fans. Like, hey man, these people like our two stupid asses enough to buy a shirt and like wear our shit. So fucking can't thank you enough. Kana was looking awesome in that shirt when she shared the picture of her wearing it. So I'm stoked. Mine should be here tomorrow. I'll be posting a picture of me in it whenever I get it. And real quick, let me check. Let me check our iTunes. See if we're still sitting at. Yeah, we're still sitting at seven 5-star reviews.
Yeah, we're not even at rookie numbers yet. We're still waiting for batting practice.
So we've gotten another text review, not just a rating.
Oh, yeah?
It's from Shinjin29, so whoever that is, thank you very much. It says, formula for success. 2 guys talking about video games with an interesting perspective and entertaining stories. I see nothing wrong here. appreciate the 5-star review, man.
Yeah,
Anybody who's
yeah.
left a 5-star review, I appreciate it. If you get us to 10 5-stars, we need 3 more 5-star reviews. I got another game code to give away. I actually have a lot of fucking game codes to give away.
Do
So
you?
keep making these ratings climb, and I will keep giving away games. But let's
Yeah.
get it to 10, and that would be awesome. And honestly, I want to set up a giveaway for people who share the show, because that would help us out a lot. I'm trying to figure out ways for the show to reach more people. So if you listen and you like the show, share it with your friends, post it on your Facebook. If you don't mind posting something as explicit as our show on your Facebook, if you do, I understand that. Tweet us out, post us to your OnlyFans, post us to your Discord, listen to us while you're having sex, something. Like, get us out there. You got a girl or a guy over. It's the first time you ever came over. You guys are getting down and dirty. Fucking throw on an episode of us, man. Let our voices soothe you to orgasm. You got this. You got this. We believe in you. But please, share the show. Like us on Facebook. I know all of that is in the outro now, which is nice. I don't have to run through it all the time. Even though I want to do it. I'm so used to it. It's like I want to fire that out there. But one thing that I don't think is in there is the Facebook group, the Steam Machine Podcast Lounge. Come join us. It's a small crew right now, man, but we're sharing memes and talking about video games. Everybody was sharing their computer rigs the other day. I don't know if you got a chance to peep in and see that, but Hans, what a big dick computer that guy's got.
Yeah, no, that was definitely some BDE, with that flex.
I was like, damn, son, look at that. He's got a fucking 3090. Jesus.
I can't wait for tax time when I can build mine.
Well, let me go ahead and tell you, that graphics card,
flex all over it.
That graphics card he's got is like $1,200 or something like that. It's fucking expensive.
I'm probably dropping a lot. So.
Well, let's see if you can build a PC more powerful than mine. It won't be hard. Yeah. It won't be hard. But yeah, man, he showed his off. It was awesome. James Hall was showing off his and his wife's. I showed off mine. I think Taylor even popped in and shot a picture of hers. And our the other Dalton. He shared his as well. And him and Hans both have those fucking monitors that are as wide as both of my monitors put together. Like, it's just one. That's insane. But I get it. You want that field of view to be as max as possible.
Everyone's got these awesome builds, and I'm just got a fucking laptop.
Hey, man.
From Walmart.
Hey, man. It'll make it all that much sweeter when you can just, take a picture of your computer and post it out there, and it'll just be like, thud. Yeah, here's my dick, motherfuckers. What's up? Well, other than the confusion, so if we didn't really go into too much depth on either of these games, apologies, we fucked up. But we hope we still made the what we had and did entertaining. So, is there anything else you'd like to touch on, brother?
Did we run Steamy for the next game?
No, we didn't. Oh my god. Fucking good call.
I was just sitting here thinking, what is our next game? I was like,
I'm a fucking idiot is what it is. All right, let me run him. All right, he is blinking at me. 251. And on our randomized list, number 251 is going to be, drumroll, Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 4. Nice.
I love Far Cry 4, but I've never beat it. I had it on PS3.
Yeah.
PS3, Jesus Christ. I had it on PS4. Fun little fact about this game that I'll probably bring up on the next episode too. You can beat this game in 20 minutes.
Nice.
In the very beginning, because I know you and I know you'll want to try this, so I'm going to go ahead and just tell you this now. When the game starts up, you meet Pagan Min, right? And some crazy shit happens, and he goes to take care of it, and he says, wait here, I'll be back in 15, 20 minutes. Well, then the game gives you the opportunity to move, and then you just get up and leave, and the game starts, right? But if you sit there and wait for 15 or 20 minutes, he will come back, and he will take you to do what you came to do, and you guys will do it, and then you'll talk about going to get lunch and go shoot some guns, and you'll get into a fucking helicopter and fly off, and the game's over.
Nice. I'm totally doing that.
You should, so we can talk about it more in depth and stuff. But yeah, man, Far Cry 4, I look forward to it. It's diving into I think it's an Asian land, so look out for tigers.
Okay.
That's all I got to say. Look out for tigers. All right.
Nice.
Well, for this week, he's Ryan. I'm Dalton. And as always, guys, take it easy.
You can find us at facebook.com/The Steam Machine Podcast or search Facebook and join our group, The Steam Machine Podcast Lounge. You can also find us on Twitter at Steam_podcast. We thank everyone for listening, and as always, we'll catch you next week.